When you invest in real estate, people talk about cap rates. What is a cap rate?
A cap rate's pretty simple to understand. You take the net cash flow out of the property, net cash flow, right? Then you take what they call net operating income, which is your rents, minus all your expenses basically. And that number, you divide that by the price or the value of the property. Price if it's a purchase transaction, value is a little bit difficult, it's based on an appraisal or what Zillow says or what estimated value, right? Mm-hmm. And when you divide that number, that percentage is the return on capital. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what the cap rate means.
And so for certain markets, there's a certain cap rate that's considered.
Some markets are high cap, some markets are low cap. And the way I look at it, this is not necessarily how the way the industry looks at it. The way I look at it is a high cap rate market. You buy the property, right? When, whether you put debt on it or not, but when you buy a property in a high cap market, that means the cash flow it spits out is higher than other markets. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So let's say you have a 10 cap and the property spits out 100,000 in cash flow every year. So if a 10 cap property, that means it's worth $1 million, right? That's the price of it, right? Mm-hmm. Usually high cap, and what the definition, what the threshold of high, to me, LA's caps are usually as low as 2, sometimes 4 on some commercial properties, sometimes 5, 6 on industrial, whatever. The higher the cap, the more the cash flow you get in relation to the price of the property or the value of the property. And to me, those are what I call coupon clipper properties. You buy that property, you're not looking at it to appreciate a lot over a longer period of time. You're just looking at it to get the money from the net income you get from the rents. Now, low cap properties to me is usually sub 4%, sometimes sub 5%. Those are appreciation properties usually. Those are usually in markets or in areas where the property appreciates a lot, right? That's why the cash flow is less.
Like LA.
So, like LA. Right? So you buy stuff, to me, this is my personal opinion on how I look at things. You go after properties like that, to hold, and your biggest gain comes from the cap gains when you flip it later on for a much higher price. Simple example, a property in a beach city over here versus a similar property in Kansas City, in Dallas, Texas, right? Those properties don't appreciate very much, but they give you a lot of cash in relation to its value or price. Properties here gives you very little cash in relation to its price or value, but it appreciates. So you make your money on the exit. The other high cap properties, you make your money when you hold it. That's kind of how I look at it.
Got it.